What's up everyone? Welcome to another episode from Pacific Arc Tig Welding. My name's Dusty. I had somebody really special out there weld my logo and send it to me. I want to say a huge shout out to Derek Cohey. What is up, Derek? Derek has a killer Instagram page. He does welding art and all kinds of metalworking projects. So hit him up if you're in his area. He's a great dude. Sincerely appreciate getting connected with this guy. But he randomly sent me this TIG welding art project that he did where he welded up my logo. And I gotta say, Derek, I'm sure you're watching right now. I can't thank you enough, man. Anybody who's rolled with me as an OG fan of the channel, in which Derek has and a lot of people have, I appreciate every single one of you so much. So he beat me to it. He welded my logo before I could even do it. I've welded other people's logo. So today, I'm putting an end to that. I'm gonna see if I can try and keep up with Derek here and weld my own logo. So Derek, thank you for the idea, man. Thank you for the piece. I appreciate this so much. Let's get down to it. I've cut out some aluminum plate, cut it up into the shape of my logo. I've got a bunch of pieces I gotta try and figure out how it goes back together, and I'm gonna try and weld up my logo. So stick with me, this one's gonna be fun. Okay, as you can see here, I got all my parts previously cut. I cut them on a bandsaw and conveniently numbered them all so I can remember which ones go where. Tacking them together is always a bit of a tricky process because I gotta kind of hold it with my hands, balance everything precariously, tack it all in place, but for the most part, this one went pretty smooth. And for the most part, you can kind of tack them, and then with a hammer or something, you can kind of rearrange them a little bit after the fact. Always gives me a little bit of leeway to get things a little bit positioned pretty well. As you can see here, I'm actually just doing little fill passes. So I'm filling in the joints on the side, and I'm filling them up a little bit more than I usually would, because as you can see in the next step here, I'm going to smooth them down with a grinder. So I got to make sure I have enough filler rod put into the joint to keep everything nice and proud. And here we go. I'm going to smooth it down with the grinder. For the most part, I'm doing kind of a quick job with it, just taking down all the high spots. And here you can see I'm taking the high spots on the welded seams down. I'm going to blend it all together so it looks like one molded surface. Wearing the respirator too, trying to keep the lungs healthy after years of beating on my poor lungs. And here you can see me kind of roll over the profile. So what this joint actually turned into is it turned into a bit of a corner-to-corner joint on the outsides here. One of my favorite joints to do, actually. It's a pretty showy weld. You get to show off some pretty nice steady hands if you can get a nice corner-to-corner looking weld on some thin plate like this. Now I'm going to tack the plate on the front. And I'm going to do it very carefully, try and keep everything lined up so nothing moves. Steady. But here we go. So you get another variation of a different type of weld on this project. So on this joint here, it's called the lap weld. So basically you have a high surface and a low surface. So because I want this piece to turn out absolutely perfect, because it's a very visual piece, I want to make sure that the lower line of my weld is nice and straight and all of my welding is blended into both plates equally. So keeping a close eye on that bottom line and tying it up. And here we go. I'm going to transfer the weld onto the top, and I'm going to do the star pattern in the middle of my logo. As you can see, I'm following an etched line that I've etched onto the surface of this plate, so I can follow it a little bit. But as far as the width of the weld, I'm kind of just eyeballing it as I go. Here we go, putting the final button into the center, like a pretty little bow. Final dab right in the middle. There we go. Okay, so the welding process is all done. I'm pretty stoked on how it went. For the most part, it went pretty smoothly. You did see me dip on camera and destroy a tungsten. It's not very often I do that on this channel, but it happened today. So now it's time to get some polish on the piece, polish it up, get it nice and shiny. Then after that, anybody who watches my channel knows whatever I gotta do for the most part, I gotta make it weird. I always got a strange style in my artwork, so I gotta put my spin on it. I'm gonna bust out the paint, I'm gonna do my thing, make it weird. Here I go.